So that's how you would do that. It's pretty simple. You don't have to roll for it because it's a basic action, and if you did, it'd be a fucking big time waster. Because if this is a CIS console, then once you get caught in a firewall, you'd have maybe like a minute until reinforcements come by, depending on the RP slash the game master. So after you connect your data back to the console, you attempt to find a way to break through the security systems. So another thing you would do is do like /me tries to access console, and then at that point you would roll. If you got below 50, then it would lock you out of the console, be like password login protected. So if you get above a 50, it'd be an open console. Most of the times you'll probably roll a well, if you're unlucky enough, you'll roll a fucking 1 or a 2. In that case, it'd be a locked console. So at that point, you would use Uno Momento. At that point, you use maybe like a simple technique or tactic called a brute force attack. That's one way of doing it. Another way is that you could use what's called a shock stick. A shock stick basically kind of overloads the system, kind of resetting everything and taking everything down like offline. So that's 2 ways of doing it. I've practiced much, so I don't know a lot of ways. But usually, it works around the time you get to the shock stick. Another way is by using what's called a droid popper. It's basically like an EMP on a very like small scale, to where it's maybe like let's say
Where are you
maybe
reading
like
this?
huh? Oh, it's just stuff that I've learned. The scramble key and the brute force attack are actual like techniques. But the brute force attack isn't on there, I think. So it's just me telling me from my experience. So moving on to the next section. Slicing into civilian slash CIS consoles. One of the other common issues you might find during a mission is a console with the basic slash advanced security. There are many ways to extract data or gain control from a console. The basic way to extract data or gain control from a console as a tech tuber would be the following steps below. Locate the console you need to obtain data or gain control of. Connect your data pad to the console in some way to the console. That's kind of weird. Attempt to find a way to break through the security measures. So like I said, a brute force attack. Fucking scramble key. If the firewall's kind of password protected for some fucking odd reason. Or a shock stick. But keep in mind that all these things are very situational. So sometimes a shock stick might work, sometimes a fucking scramble key will fuck up on you and you'll roll a fucking 1. And at that point, if it's a high security type thing, you'd probably could put up like 3 firewalls or something. So find the data you are after, or look at the controls. So let's say if you broke through the firewall and you found a folder of CIS data that you're looking for, or maybe just like a singular file, you would just do, like in game, it'd look like this. Actually, let's move on inside since that's a console for a door. So let's say this is the CIS console that you broke it into and you found information. So you'd be just like this. It'd be like that. And you don't need to roll for it because it's just you have access to the. Well, at that point you'd have full access to the console, hopefully, and so you need to roll for that. It's just a basic type of thing. So with that being said, moving on. Other scenarios. So there are tons of other cases that you can find yourself that are not listed in this document, where you need to think quick on your feet to get to the issue. You can take the basic guidelines and slice into a door or console, twist them to fit in the situation that you are in. Do not be afraid to be experimental with your tech RP or creative. We do love creative tech RP. Do to achieve your goals and your mission, just to make sure to use the common sense whenever you are trying to out new things. So, uh, for example, if let's say you fucking uh let's say I don't know, like you call in a fucking VTOL Warsat to hack this simple little console right here. That wouldn't really make sense because you're using like really expensive high tech uh military technology just to hack this simple little CIS console that you yourself could probably get through if you're lucky. So stuff like that is kind of stupid. It doesn't really make sense too much. Uh, so don't do don't be too creative about it, or don't be too ridiculous. Be realistic with it to a point. All right, so viruses. Now with viruses, uh, they are mainly used against high security systems like a CIS command console, or maybe like a CIS data bank with very sensitive information on it. So the thing with viruses is once you use a virus, oh, memento. All right, I'll be back momentarily. Forgive me. Just read over the talk while I'm gone. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So, what the thing with viruses is, wow. All right. Once you put them in, and usually they're only used for firewalls, high security ones, and to be exact. So like you only use them against uh high security firewalls on a CIS console. And once you put them in, you would have to remove them from corrupting your own files that you're looking you are trying to look for. So you would do /me tries to isolate the infected files or folders, and then you would do /me removes virus, something like that. It's a very simple thing, but it can go wrong. If you were to fail, then the virus would spread, and yeah, you would fail at isolating the virus, and it would just run rampant. So even if you just extract the data, it most likely be corrupted, so that then you would have to destroy it. Doki. So extremely high level security is backdooring a console or a droid. Quickly, permanently, says temporarily disabling a droid console. So maybe you'd use a fucking Trojan horse type virus to get past the firewalls and kind of just destroy all the data if that was your mission, type thing. So it's more of like a last chance type of thing. You wouldn't really use it normally, or so like nonchalantly, you know?
It's more so for like shutting shit down.
Yeah, it's like a last measure type thing. Yeah. So removing a virus, connect your data pad to the console, attempt to find a way to break into their security systems, attempt to find all traces of the virus on the hard drive, isolate the file traces, then extract them to a hollow drive, destroy the hollow drive. So that's how you would do it, if you're going by the book. So you would do that in the scenario of, let's say, a CAS commander droid was trying to install a virus on a Republic console that had, let's say, I don't know, all the fucking money in the world on it. So all the records of that would be destroyed if that were to happen. So your job then would be to remove the virus how it is, and it would be most safe to follow by the book at that point. So tools, multi-tech tool. This useful tool is basically a Swiss Army knife, but for tech people. So uh, every basic tool in the toolbox mixed into one thing, such as screwdrivers, scissors, wrench, fucking bolt cutter. You wouldn't have that, but you know, you get what I'm saying. So connection cables, like I said before, they're used to connect your data pad to consoles or panels. Usually very sturdy. Or a monitor, custom slicer data pad. So this data pad is a normal data pad, but it can be outfitted with whatever you decide to have with you, within reason, of course. So no ridiculous fucking I don't know, cyber bolt cutter type shit. Uh, whatever you need to make sure that you can perform your duties as a tech better, in a better manner, type thing. So a scramble key, like I said before, is a small device that cycles through random codes at an incredible speed. With proper use of this device, you can get past anything from security systems to opening locks. So wiring kit. Wiring kit comes with all basic tools you need to wire or rewire anything that you came across that may need wiring / rewiring. Plasma cutter. This is useful for your go-to for cutting through an object with ease. Do not use this tool for something such as cutting wires or such. So you may use a plasma cutter. Let's say if you're trying to open up a panel, a control panel to a door, you'd use, and you can like kind of pry it open with a knife or something. So to use the bolt cutter to cut the edges of it, loosening it, and you kind of tear it off. And that's one way you could use a bolt cutter. I definitely wouldn't recommend cutting wires with it because that's just a very stupid idea, as it can lock you out of the system. It could alert the garrison or nearby troops of your location. So that'd be very bad for everyone. Moving on to miscellaneous information. So tech chain of command. Black Ops techs are the highest authority on tech. So me and shots have the highest priority and authority on tech matters or tech situations. So if we felt like you weren't doing a situation right, or you were like embarrassingly failing at the situation, you would take over and try to save it, as we do. So ARCs also are tech trained, or that have tech training, are next people in priority list. and can take control of tech situations from, let's say, regular troops that are tech trained. So if they also felt like you were doing it wrong, or they didn't feel like you were doing it right, they'd take over from where you left off, most likely. So, if no black ops are on, then they come first. So if me and Shaz were on, then an arc tech or an arc officer tech officer would come first. All other techs have the least amount of priority. If no arcs or black ops are available, then it's first to come, first serve for a tech situation. So tech roleplay is not engineer roleplay. There are two different divisions, as tech handles hacking, slicing, and circuitry. Engineers have control over repair and maintenance. So repairing, I don't know, a fucking gas leakage or a pipe, something like that. You get the idea. So as a tech, you're not allowed to do something such as last minute tries. You are allowed to roll twice. First roll passes at 50 plus, second is 75 plus. But if you both fail rolls, you must find another way around the problem that makes sense and adds to roleplay. Tech roleplay is free RP based, but you must follow this document as a guideline. Use common sense when doing tech roleplay, so don't do something that would make sense in lore. So why don't we apply these skills if you guys are two alive. You hear it, Bryce? No, he's dead. That's fine. Come here, Raze. So let's say that this console is a CIS one, and let's say the fucking shield is active. So, just go ahead and try to bypass the console and get access to this door. I'll walk you through the situation.
So you just connect the data pad first, right? Or is the scramble key separate from the data pad? Hello?
Alright, so your data pad is hooked up to the console. Now, I recommend you trying to access the console through the use of your data pad. Or however you see fit, if you have a better idea. So, at that point you roll.
Is it just slash roll? I don't remember.
Yeah, just slash roll. Alright, so. Nice. So you do have access to the control consoles. I mean, what the fuck? You do have access to the console, which is linked up to the door.
Okay.
So, now that you have full control of the console, or access, you can turn off the ray shield. Cool. Now that the ray shield is down, moving past. Yes, that's good. That's good. So let's say here, since those two are being used, we'll try this. So in this little monitor thing is CIS recordings of troop activity and deployment activity. So basically, video recording of how many troops there are, what kind of equipment they have, technology. So your objective is to retrieve those recordings from within the database of this console. I'll walk you through it, of course.
You roll for checking the security level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So, uh, let's say that this is a high security system. So it has about the amount of security you would expect from a military console, military computer, stuff like that. So this will be a tough cookie to crack, hopefully, or not. We'll see. So you are locked out of this console. It requires a password / user login. I will say it's a password login. I think it's the last one up. Oh no.
Is that an 80? It's fucking tiny.
Yeah. So since it is password protected or login protected, you wouldn't really access the files right away, so you'd be locked out of the
Oh
console.
yeah, so log. Okay.
So yeah, we'll say that you use the scramble key to guess the login / password. So you now have access to the console. Now you have free reign, undetected so far. So now your objective is to find those video recordings. Okay. So your basic attempt to locate the files has failed. Another way of looking for files is would be looking. So it would, well, one way would be like this. Let me show you here. So one way would be like that. So that at that point you would roll. So
Okay.
just go ahead and type. So basically it would be like a keyword search of files with the name relating to security camera recordings. So you never know, they could be recordings from security cameras on the base, or from droids, which basically are the same thing, kind of. So yes, you brazenly
Just
found the basic brazen fuck. you found the recordings that you were looking for. But in doing so, you activated two firewalls. So you know where the recording is. You've located it, but the firewalls are preventing you from extracting the data into your data pad. So you have to find a way to break through the firewalls.
Now this is recording of our shit on a like this is recording of our movements and
No,
whatnot.
this is a recording of. So yeah, so this is basically a recording of CIS troop deployments, technology, weaponry, stuff like that. So basically a fucking camera that's looking at the most high-tech CIS weapons they have. So yes, you do have to break through two firewalls to extract data.
I feel like I'm way overthinking this.
I mean, I'd say it's valid because it is a high security system. Again, this type of RP is very free in what you can do, but at the same time, it can't be like super ridiculous. Like stick a fucking nano droid in the fucking I don't know porthole of a CIS computer, you know. So, again, ordinary techniques like a brute force attack to a firewall could work, as well as a shock stick. Or, if you want to be more creative with it, you could have a overload type program in your slicing data pad. If
Honestly,
you
because like rewiring it wouldn't really do anything in terms of this.
Nah, not really. It would just kind of mess with the function. So you say like, fucking turning off the console would just mean deleting everything, you know? It'd rewire the functions, type of thing. But again, this is all very situational, so it probably wouldn't end up like that in reality or in a different situation other than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that did not work. The first firewall is still up. So what you could do is do this type of thing. That obviously did not work for me, but it can or could work for you. So, if you don't have, or if you're not much of a thinker, or not very imaginary or imaginative, sorry, you could use just a regular old brute force attack, and it could work 50-50. Oh, uh, another way would also to be access maybe a connected console. So let's say if this green console here was connected to some really long fucking 10-foot cables to this console, right? So what you could do is probably come over here. This is probably a free access console, which it probably will be. You could just access this and then do let's say /me searches for a backdoor port into this monitor / console. Since it is connected to the use of connection cables that were already here. So if you were to let's say if you you rolled a fucking I don't know a 63 and you do find the backdoor port. So what you could do is probably run a connection cable to this console into your datapad, and then through that you'd be able to access this console through the use of the back port, bypassing the firewall. So you would then extract the data from the backdoor port into your datapad, and then boom, there you go. You don't have to deal with the firewalls if you were to fail a lot of times. So I think you catch my drift with that. With that being said, if you want to try that, you can. If you want to try the brute force attack, you can. If you want to try the overload through the use of a shock stick, you can as well. If you want to use the miniature EMP droid popper type thing. Cool. So you overload the system. Since you overloaded the system, the security protocols are rendered inactive, totally fucked. Since the security systems are pretty fucked up, you now have free access to accessing the video recordings that you need, but it will take, let's say maybe like an additional some longer time than usual.
Is that a roll or?
No, because you have free access to the console,
Yeah.
and you just begin downloading the data. So
It would just take longer.
yeah, it would take a bit longer. Sorry, I'm eating.
You're all good. So like you couldn't try to wire a backdoor from your datapad to the console.
Wire about? You mean like wiring, or do you mean connection cables?
Like yeah, trying to backdoor your way in.
So you can try to backdoor your way in through like an adjacent well, in this instance it would most likely only work with an adjacent console. So let's say if this little like fucking data schematic thing was a console, like a miniature console like this over here. So if this was adjacent to this console, you'd probably be able to find a backdoor through the console right here. Then that would lead into this thing. Since they are adjacent, they are probably most likely connected together. Or synced together at least. Alright, so the data is done downloading. You can disconnect your connection cables. Now you have the datapad video recordings on your datapad. I just said that again. Alright, so mission complete. Good job. 5 stars, Modern Warfare 2. Okay.
So not a mission failed.
Yeah, not mission failed. Changed Captain Price actor. Alright, so I think you're done with the training. I was gonna have you run over removing a virus, but that'd be a little too tedious, and I kind of want to go eat. My head hurts. So you probably, or if you want to, you could practice in other scenarios with any of the other officers over removing viruses, doing viruses, stuff like that. One scenario would be, like I said before, say a Asteroid comes in, installs a virus to destroy security protocols. You would isolate the virus if it were to infect programs or protocols or folders, files, that type of thing.
So most of it's just thinking of a way of doing it in terms of RP, and then just
Yeah.
rolling for it.
I mean, it kind of just is rolling for it, but
Yeah.
if you want to be very RP with it, then I don't know. You could look up some technical terms, slicing, hacking technical terms that are valid and not just bullshit. Like a rainbow table is a plausible thing because it is an actual tool used by hackers, which was taught to me by my
User
captain.
joined your channel.
So, oh yeah, we're done your shots. Went over the dock.
Alright, did you fill them all out?
Oh yeah, I gotta fill the form out.
I'm back.
God, I hate you, Rice. Alright, yeah. So I went over the dock with him. I didn't get to do the scenarios with him. If that's
User
fine.
joined your channel.
Oh, why didn't you get to do the scenarios?
Because he had to go. And I also had to get my food.
Okay.
Yeah, I went over
What
the
about
dock with him
Ray's?
fully though. Rice? No, I did the scenarios with Ray's because he was here, but Rice had to go for